Welcome to the Planty Podcast. Fantastic episode for you today. We are doing some NBA stuff. Season started last night, and we're going until June, baby. Lots of NBA basketball to be had from now until then, but kind of, NBA. I love football, but anyone who knows me knows that the NBA is sort of my wheelhouse. And obviously, so much has happened. Yeah. But we wanted to do a little NBA preview. AJ and I did. And so yeah, hope you enjoy. Make sure you are liking, sharing, subscribing. Appreciate you for listening. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Breaker, so on and so forth. There's so many different little things on the page that it's hard to keep track. Look forward to another NFL preview. Another NFL episode coming up. That'll be in say Monday. It should come out on Monday. And sorry, I got distracted because the 76ers have told James Harden to stay home. Kind of toxic. Anyway, not by that whole situation is toxic. Anyway, I'm rambling. We wanted to do this kind of short and sweet. We wanted to keep it at 30 minutes, but we just had too much to talk about. So, of course, in Plan C podcast style, it expanded way over what we thought. But, these things happen. Anyway, make sure you listen to previous episodes. We got lots of stuff there, and lots of fun stuff coming. So, again, make sure you're checking that all out. Make sure you're subscribed. Turn on notifications. All 9 yards. Let's smash that like button, guys. Kind of vibe. Hope everyone's having a lovely Wednesday. I'm all right. I'm, still getting over some sickness, and that's annoying. But I'm going to the home opener of the Nets, so very excited for that. Can't wait. And here's Pearl Jam. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, enjoy the show. What's up, AJ? Appreciate you. Like, share, subscribe. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. Whole 9 yards. Enjoy the episode. Thank you so much for listening. See you on the other side. Peace.
No problem. I've still got Plan C. Ladies and gentlemen.
NBA preview coming at you. As I mentioned in the intro, happy Wednesday. We are coming from the past. We are here to give you an amazing preview of the upcoming season, joined by my sports consultant extraordinaire, AJ. How you doing, man?
Thank you for that intro, man. I'm doing good.
Nice. Glad to hear it. So AJ and I were talking about it, and we wanted to make this a little more of a formatted thing. So I think there won't be as many sort of long-winded takes and this, that, and the third, and wandering around this blah, blah, blah. So hopefully we can do that. So just buckle up. This should be nice and quick. So we decided that kind of the best place to start would be division winners. And a good place to start is the East, because I think the East got weaker this offseason, and sort of just in the last couple, last two seasons, I feel like a lot of star power has gone west. So AJ, let's kick it off with the Atlantic. Who do you have for the winner of the Atlantic Division in the East?
I think it's going to continue to be Boston. That's probably a popular pick. I'm sure that's likely who you went with as well. Am I correct?
Boston was indeed my first pick. Yes.
Yeah, I think when you look at the rest of the division, there's some question marks kind of across the board. I know you're a Brooklyn guy. What are your thoughts on them towards the top?
I'll be honest with you. It would very much surprise me if this Nets team, were a good team. I don't think they're going to crack the division winner. And I'm a little worried about their playoffs, but hey, you never know. They could surprise me. So with the Celtics, I think it's really easy because you say, okay, the team that went to the fucking East Finals and was in a game 7. You took that team and you added Kristaps Porzingis and Drew Holiday. And yeah, you lost Time Lord and a couple other pieces,
They
but
lost quite a bit of pieces, but I mean, their starting five, I think, solidified a bit more, right?
yeah, and it's now a team that you're like, okay, here you go. This is the window. This is your fucking chance. If you want to look at it in a bigger sense, I don't think this team will be able to beat a Denver fully healthy or a Lakers team fully healthy, but that's neither here nor there. I still think the Celtics absolutely win the division. I think a fun one could be the Raptors. I'm not gonna say that. I don't know. This team is weird because you have so many players who it feels like they fit a very similar profile. With like Pascal Siakam and OG Anunoby and
Scotty.
Scotty Barnes. It's a lot of athleticism. It's a lot of length. So they're going to defend well and they're going to play hard, and I'm interested to see how they play with not Nick Nurse, because Nick Nurse was seen as, or sort of is seen as, a very offensive forward coach, and you lost Fred VanVleet in the offseason. Norm Powell hasn't been on this team in a while. I'm interested to see where the Raps go with this. That being said, I think their upside is actually really high. I think Scotty Barnes is very healthy. I think Pascal Siakam has always shown flashes, but he's never been able to hold it all together. Minus if you want to count the championship season. Yeah, I think with good health, and if they can have good offensive balance, I think this team is. I think they could definitely surprise folks.
Yeah. I think one of the reasons why I'm a little hesitant on Toronto is a similar reason why I'm hesitant on another big team that could potentially win this division that we didn't talk about, Philadelphia. There's just question marks on some of those top players. You just mentioned Pascal Siakam. That dude's been rumored to be moved, the last 2-3 years since Kawhi left. I could definitely see it happening if this team doesn't really take off. It doesn't really do good. Similarly with the 76ers, I mean, what the hell is going to happen with James Harden? You're seeing all these trade rumors. I don't know if you saw the rumor of what the Knicks were willing to offer
I saw
for
that this morning.
Joel Embiid. I mean, shit. If you haven't seen it,
if you're putting that out, yeesh.
What was it? It was RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, like 3 first-round picks, multiple second-round picks. I would take that in a heartbeat for Joel Embiid personally, but there's just some question marks with that team. So it's going to be an interesting season, especially with the way they finished last year. I mean, my expectations are not going to be too high for Philly.
I have zero faith in this Philadelphia team. And not in the sense where I'm like, I think they're going to be bad. I think this team will still probably win, I think this will still be a middle to high seed in the East. But I have no faith in them to be just like a consistent winner. I think James Harden, led the league in assists last season. Yeah, but I don't know. I have no faith. I have no faith in Embiid to stay healthy for the amount of games required to win the division. I have no faith in the depth of Philadelphia to going to get after it. I know Tyrese Maxey, he's a very good player, and with the missing James Harden, I think he could definitely maybe take a step up. But at its core, this team is just it feels so like sort of like Dallas, where everything just moves with Luka, but Luka is just like a flawed enough player where it's not going to happen in this style. And maybe Nick Nurse comes in and maybe he proves me wrong, and they blow everyone's mind, and they're just like they're getting buckets, this, that, and the third. Maybe that does happen.
Yeah, and I do think that that's one of the things that is going to give a little bit of hope is Nick Nurse. I think it's a huge upgrade over what they had last year in Doc. But it'll be interesting. It's going to be an interesting division. I think the Celtics are such a complete team, though. Their depth is going to be brought into question a lot this year. But they didn't finish on a great note last year. People were ripping Jaylen Brown left and right for the way he was not carrying the team.
I think he was injured.
Yeah, but regardless, All NBA last year. He got a huge contract. I know that's Jason Tatum's team, but I think most times Celtics fans kind of view him as 1A, 1B. And man, he's I don't think he's lived up to that.
I just there is so much more room for that now, especially if they're healthy though. That's the way I'm thinking about it. Is it's like they're baking that into the pie. They know that he can be a liability. So that's why they got Drew. That's why they got Kristaps. I think I don't know if I am higher on a division winner than the Celtics. Maybe one more in the East, but I don't know if I'm higher on a division winner than I am the Celtics. Any more on the Atlantic before we move on?
No, let's go for it.
Excellent. All right, so moving on to the Central. The Central is probably the team I know the teams I follow the least out of the Eastern Conference. So please just bear with me. I think picking the winner here is very easy. The Bucks, like, come on, it's this team has the ceiling to win like 60 games, maybe more. It's just I'm having a really hard time articulating it because it's just gonna blow people's minds so much. Giannis has never played with somebody like this.
Yeah. And he seems rejuvenated now. The fact that he signed his contract extension right off the bat.
Holy shit, he got a bag.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
And at the same time, it seems like a good value for who he is.
Absolutely.
But, no, I agree. It's going to be an interesting team. It goes both ways. Damian Lillard, media day, straight up looked around at Brook Lopez, Giannis, and Chris Middleton and said, I've never been a part of a picture like this.
Yeah.
It's a great match that I think is really going to push that team over. I'll throw you one team that I think could make a little bit of noise. Is going to be Cleveland.
Oh, I completely agree.
I don't think they're going to push Milwaukee for that top spot in that division, but I think they're going to be a really, really good team this year.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Spider Mitchell, he wants a new contract from whoever it is. I don't know if Cleveland will pay him. I think he's got a player option after this season. Let me double check that. No, but you look up and down the roster, and there's a lot of learning to be done for sure.
His player options in 2025. Sorry.
Okay, so yeah, so he can get a new contract extension after this season. Then.
Yeah. That's another guy too that might have some question marks on if he's going to be moved, like you mentioned. Who knows if it's going to be Cleveland.
I think Cleveland wants to keep this core together because their five are really good. I know they definitely crumbled against the Knicks. Julius Randle ate their lunch. Fucking Mitchell Robinson ate their breakfast and dinner. Allen couldn't hang. Mobley, I don't know how healthy he was, but he couldn't hang. Garland was all over the place. There's definitely, I think there's definitely questions you can start asking that, we saw in the playoffs, how they wilted. Now you can say, like, yeah, you're the kind of like young Bulls team, but hey, there's a mark against you. You guys have wilted against a team that talent wise wasn't close to you. Yeah, so I like Cleveland. I just don't think they're gonna push the Cavs. Push the Bucks.
Oh yeah, like you said, their starting five is really good, right? I guess their big acquisition was bringing over Max Strus,
From
who
Cleveland,
I don't
from
from
Miami.
Miami. I don't know how much of a difference that is going to make, but I mean, I think Donovan Mitchell is amazing. I think Evan Mobley's going to take an even bigger step. That'll be a good team. One more team in the division that I think could be interesting is Chicago.
Speak to me.
I think I'm bigger on Chicago than most. I think
I'm
I
so
think
out on
DeRozan.
Chicago.
Yeah. See, I think DeRozan and Zach LaVine are great, but I just don't know if they've done enough in the last, not even just this offseason, but the previous seasons to really kind of push that roster forward. I think, I don't know. What are your thoughts? You seem to be pretty decisive on that.
The Bulls, man, I just don't believe in the Bulls. You look at the roster top to bottom. I think there's too many guards, even when you look at the talented guards. I don't like Zach LaVine in terms of being like a winning player. I've never seen him be a winning player. I've seen him, put up really good numbers and have really flashy plays, but I've never seen him do it consistently. DeMar DeRozan is awesome. He has been awesome for a while, but he's 34. He's not getting any younger, and I think, I he
How
plays,
much?
what's up?
Sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and he plays a style that doesn't necessarily age well. He's not a great 3-point shooter. He makes his own shot from the mid range. Like, that's his bread and butter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Oh, don't I know it? Don't I know it?
Kobe White. These are guys that I've just never seen as winning players. In the NBA.
Yeah. What I was gonna say is, how much do you think? Because you talked about very guard heavy. How much do you think that whole development of Ball's health really kind of put them back?
Man, I mean, that was an exciting time. Like, Lonzo was getting buckets. They were playing really fun defense. And then Lonzo went down and they traded for Vooch, and it was kind of just like, yeah.
Because like I mentioned, in the last couple of years, they really haven't made big acquisitions, I think, to push this team over. Right.
Well,
I
they
think
traded.
I think that's a problem.
They traded so much that they can't.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons. And like I said, it'll be interesting. I think they'll kind of be middle of the pack, but I think, they just haven't done enough. I don't
Yeah.
think Cleveland's gonna be exciting, but I think Milwaukee's just gonna walk away with it.
Real quick, thoughts on the Pacers?
No comment.
I think they could actually be half decent. I think Obi Toppin will be better than people think. Tyrese Halliburton, solid player.
I totally forgot they got Obi.
Miles Turner also just seems to be the most overvalued player.
That's a good way to put it.
Just like he is somehow always in trade conversations, and I feel like it's been that way his entire career, and yet he's always been on the Pacers. Yeah, there's not too much like. There's not too many like glamorous players on this roster, let's be real. And Bruce Brown earns the most money at $22 million. So I think that just kind of
Jeez.
goes to show, what they're rocking with. Buddy Hield, good shooter, but is he
Mhm.
gonna move the needle? I don't think so.
No.
But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Moving on to the Florida of the NBA, the Southwest Division, or sorry, Southeast Division. I think this is another relatively easy pick, but hey, you never know. I think Miami. I think they do it. I think they shamble through the season and then just somehow walk into first place because the rest of the division just can't hang. Um, or there's another. I have an alternate theory of what could happen, but that's for my next team. What do you think about the Heat?
I think they got worse this offseason for
Mm-hmm.
sure. I mean, they banked big time on getting Dame, and it just never happened. And then they got undercut by Milwaukee. But um, I mean, that's a team. Look at what they did last year in the postseason, right? They had guys like Max Strus. They had guys that you weren't expecting to really step up and make a big difference, come in and actually play pretty well. But that's a similar team where I don't think they really have made enough additions to kind of move the needle forward.
That's totally fair. You look at the roster, it's not amazing. It's like held together by Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. And then you look on down and it's like Tyler Hero, all right. Like, all right. Kyle Lowry, okay. Duncan Robinson, yeah.
That dude's
Get,
buried on the depth chart right now as well.
huh?
I say he's buried on the depth chart right now as well. I mean, we'll
Yeah,
see how much that really matters. Caleb Martin, like I said, he's one of those guys that kind of he was real streaky last year, right? He had a couple flash plays where he made a difference and then he just disappeared.
yeah,
Um, so I don't think they made much additions. I mean, shit, their biggest addition was Josh Richardson this offseason. Who I like. I mean, I saw him play with San Antonio last year. He switched and went to New Orleans, played pretty well. But again, not a needle mover.
yeah. No, it's a team that. Well, okay. So I think they have a top 5 coach, and I think just organizationally they're probably. I mean, people like to shit on them because they don't make these big trades, but guys, they keep making the NBA finals and you don't. So,
Exactly. Exactly. And that's kind of what I'm saying. They didn't make any moves to move the needle, but shit, they were in the finals last year and they didn't really, and the roster is not that different.
yeah, so there's a very solid core here. And the floor is very high. And so I think that actually I'm gonna scratch my pick. I think they make the playoffs. They're not gonna be my number one pick for this division. The number one pick for this division, I just convinced myself, are the Atlanta Hawks, baby.
Yeah.
Coming in, you look at the roster and you're like, oh, that guy, he's actually good. Look at him. Hello. And you have a good coach too. Quinn Snyder, good fucking coach. They have your guy Deontay Murray,
Mhm.
who is pretty solid.
Very
And
solid.
do you miss him?
Um, I at the time I was very, very depressed with the way that things kind of went. I thought he Kawhi'd us, but it wasn't significant. Um,
I mean, you got
do
three
miss him.
first round. You got
He
more. You got more for him,
that's
which is
that's
crazy.
the thing is yeah, we had a better haul for him than we did with Kawhi. So, I mean, I really like where the Spurs are currently at. I don't see how he would fit into that,
Yeah.
but I mean, his last season with us, making the All Star game, um, he was fun to watch, man. He's the type of player I like to watch.
Yeah. No,
A good scorer, great on the defensive side of things.
yeah.
I
No,
mean,
and
for the
you got Trey, you got DeAndre Hunter, Bogdanovich. These are guys that all can play. Patty Mills is a good bench guy, good locker room
love
guy, if
Patty.
you will. Yeah, I think this team. People. I think people are kind of like poo-pooing on them because people like to poo-poo on Trey. Um, but Trey's like he's young. He's only 25. And yeah, Trey's got his problems, but I think this is a roster that is very well equipped to cover those deficiencies.
I, I
Yeah.
just one of the things I just didn't see it last year. I still don't think it's going to be amazing this year. I mean, you look at the numbers, and I'm obviously wrong, but they just don't space out the floor very well together. Trey and DeJounte,
But
like running the 1 and 2, it's just it doesn't seem like a supernatural fit from
that's
when I
fair.
watch.
That's fair. That's fair.
I don't think they complement each other very well.
I just I think that with another off season, it's going to be helpful, especially to have an adult in the building like Quinn Snyder. I think I don't know. Maybe I'm overrating him. I know he's a former Spurs guy, so you'd probably know him better than I would. But I don't know. I really like the direction of this team. Maybe not to make the conference finals or win the East, but definitely to win the division. The rest of these teams we can just speed run because we've been going for a little while.
Yeah.
I think Washington are gonna be the worst team in basketball.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't know how close it's gonna be. Like I like Kyle Kuzma. I like Jordan Poole. I don't like them as my best players. Yeah, I think that team is gonna be poopy duty.
Okay. Okay. I don't think they'll be the worst team in the NBA at all. But I don't think they're going to be very good.
That's fair. Yeah. Orlando. I like Orlando. I think Orlando has a lot of young talent that's very, very exciting. But I think they're young and they're not going to know how to put it all together. So I don't think they will win the division. Yeah. Any
Agreed.
thoughts on Orlando?
No, everything you just said.
Nice.
Agreed.
And then Charlotte, another candidate for worst team in the league. Just a complete fucking mess in transition from the Jordan ownership. Just bringing back Miles Bridges, but cutting Kai Jones.
Picking Brandon Miller over Scoot.
Yeah, just I think there's stupidity all around. Again, candidate for worst team in the league.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. All right, so moving on to the West.
Let's burn through these.
Yeah, let's start with the Northwest. Denver for me is just there's Spurs North right now for me. They just seem to just have a system. Jokic seems to be an automatic 50 wins at this point. Yeah, I don't have much to say. We all watched them just pick apart teams in the playoffs and finals. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, and it almost seems like Jokic is getting better too each year, right? The last couple of years, he's just been putting it together more and more. So I'm right there. I think Denver is going to be a 50-team win. I think OKC is going to be a very, very interesting team to watch this year. I don't think they're going to push. I don't think they're going to push Denver, but I think they're going to be a very, very good basketball team this year.
Nice. Yeah, no, I really like OKC. I don't know if they'll win the division, but this team is, I think it's sort of like, for me it's the West version of Orlando, but scaled up 2 years.
They took their time a little bit more.
Oh, they took their time. Yeah. They got their guy in SGA and they just locked in. Chet is potentially awesome. You just there's a lot to like here, I think.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. They got a lot of pieces.
T-Wolves. I think the T-Wolves are actually going to be half decent. I am going to spoil one of my MVP picks, but Anthony Edwards, I think
Okay.
can be. I think he can be an MVP. I love the way he plays. He has the superstar swagger. Like he's just like got such a great like smile. It's so hard. Like I couldn't ever like see disliking him. He just seems like such like a fun guy to hang out with. He is incredible on the basketball court. He has the highlight potential to get those headlines where it's either like Bleacher Report posts him dunking on somebody or he puts up like 45 points 3 nights in a row or some shit like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude just turned 22 less than a month ago. I'm right there
Horrifying.
with you. I'm not super sold on Mike Conley. Jaden McDaniels, I know he just got a deal, and I really, really, really despise Rudy Gobert. I think he brings that team down quite a bit, to be honest with you.
Completely agree. They're paying him so much money, and I think Karl Anthony Towns could be traded soon. Yeah. Yeah. And then it's Anthony Edwards' team, and then they trade him, and then they go and win like 15 games in a row, some shit like that. Moving on. Portland, I really like what you're doing. I do think you will be one of the not better teams in the NBA.
Agreed.
Enjoy the lottery. Yeah, that's all I really got to say. I'm really excited to watch Scoot Henderson play. He looks awesome. I don't really think Chauncey Billups is a good head coach, but hey, I don't know exactly what he's been working with in the past few seasons. So yeah, excited to see the combination of like Anthony Simons and shit with Scoot, and yeah, let's see what you got, guys. Brogdon's there now. Yeah.
For now.
Same with Robert Williams, so
Yeah.
enjoy that.
They put together some interesting pieces, they were kind of put in a shitty situation. Dame was not going to play there, but they made some moves. I don't think the team's going to be great, but they made some moves. They did what they could.
Yeah, they did what they could. Exactly. Utah Jazz. I don't
Not gonna be bad.
I don't think that they're gonna win the division, but I think that this team is pretty solid.
I agree.
Walker Kessler, I think he is in his second year now, potentially, candidate to take a step up. Jordan Clarkson, really fun player. Lauri Markkanen, back from military duty from Finland, so hype. People really, I was gonna say people really like John Collins. I always thought that he would go to. I always thought he was like a Spurs guy. He would just stand up on Spurs.
There's a lot of rumors. I remember the year he was a free agent. We signed. That was one of the biggest links. It was us going after him. And I wanted it big time, and then we signed Zach Collins, and I was like, oh shit, that's the wrong Collins. And I'm actually very happy. I think Zach Collins has outproduced John Collins in almost every way since that offseason.
There you go. Any more thoughts on the Jazz before we move on?
Nada.
Yeah, so good team, not division winners. Moving on to the Pacific. Man, the Pacific. This is where things like really start to like you really start to scratch your head. Let's maybe not. Let's start at a team, but just maybe talk about like I don't know the macro of this fucking division.
Yeah,
it's really weird because there's definitely a roadway for all 5 of these teams getting in the playoffs again.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know if the Kings will be as good because people have a year of tape on them, and who knows if their players will make the leap. I'm not sure. Phoenix, you really like Phoenix, especially to win the division, but the only worry there is health. And that's honestly, that's what's fucked up. Is it's the same thing with the Lakers. It's the same exact thing with the Lakers. You're like, can LeBron do, another full season? Can Anthony Davis, if LeBron gets injured, can he shoulder the load? Or is he gonna break down again? I like LA's supporting cast, and the Lakers are probably my pick to win this division, and if not the Lakers, then the Suns. But then look at the Clippers, and you're like, oh, geez, like, what if Kawhi and Paul George are just fucking they put it together, finally, and they're just kicking ass and da 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 da.
Dude, what about the reigning champs?
The Dubs, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I that's
Wait, not
that's
the reigning champs. Why am I saying that?
no, I mean they're not reigning, but they did it the year before, so you're not.
That's what I'm saying. But I'm surprised that that's the fourth team you just mentioned.
I need to see more from Kuminga and Moody before anything else. Before I can crown them division champs. So my picks are Lakers, and if not the Lakers, then the Suns, but Lakers. Yeah. What about you? Who's your pick?
See, I wrote down the Suns, but I'm kind of second guessing that now.
Phoenix.
It's gonna be interesting. I mean, there's already reports tonight. Bradley Beal's already not playing. I don't know, man.
That's a joke. That's a joke. He was playing. And that's a joke.
I know. I have such a hard time trusting any Kevin Durant teams. I really do. I just don't think that. I mean, how many big threes are we gonna see this dude a part of? You know what I mean? Like
there was that graphic that came out the other day that showed his 4 big threes, and it was like, wow. Kevin Durant is like absolutely still my guy, but it's just year by year it's getting harder to defend him at that level. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I that's what I wrote down, but I think I'm gonna go back to Golden State again. The not reigning champs. I don't know why I said that. Totally skipping last year. But I think they're going to be very good this year. I think Kuminga, he showed some flashes. It really kind of makes you think like that team was bad for a couple years, had a high draft pick, and got nothing out of it. Like it just makes you wonder if they would have actually leaned and picked Lonzo. That Wiseman pick was that's got.
Or if
I
they
mean,
had like
that
traded
sucks.
up, because that was the thing about that draft. I think. Was that the year we were we covered it at La Tonique?
I believe so.
That was such a weird draft because there were like 3 options to go number 1. You said Lonzo, not Lonzo. LaMelo.
Did I say Lonzo?
But
I meant LiAngelo.
Whoa, what's up, LeVar? No, but it's so weird because if the Warriors really believed in Anthony Edwards, and I understand why they didn't take Anthony Edwards, but if they had really believed in Anthony Edwards, then you trade up for him. Like you should have made the move. It wouldn't have been hard. You had a lot of ammunition. Yeah. Who's your division winner? You said you want to say Phoenix, but who's your division winner?
I think I'm gonna go Golden State. I think that's where I'm gonna lean.
Nice. Yeah. It's such a hard division to pick. And on the topic of hard divisions to pick, we're going to the Southwest, baby. This is the fucking Wild West as far as I'm concerned for the divisions. And let's do a similar exercise where rather than going team by team, we could just talk about the macro of it. I think there are 4 teams in this division that are in a state of like sort of not panic flux, but things aren't going great. And that's the Mavs, Rockets, Grizzlies, and Pelicans. I just think the Mavs like Kyrie is a ticking time bomb. Luka, I actually think is a ticking time bomb as well. I think we're a couple years away from a potential Luka trade. The Grizzlies, you just lost Steven Adams for the year. You don't have Brandon Clark. Jaw's out 25 games. And enjoy. Enjoy Marcus Smart ball. Enjoy. Enjoy. The Rockets, they did just get what's his name? Ime. And, it's still very like nobody knows what the fuck happened in Boston, but oh man, that team I think could surprise some people, but I'm not in on them. And why don't you bring us home with your lovelies?
Yes. So I'm finding it very hard not to pick the Spurs as the division winners, but
Oh wow.
The Spurs have been very bad the last couple of years. I was telling you the other day, I really think that they built this team very surprisingly. Their first six are really good. I think they have a really solid bench. Right, they have depth across the board. 1 through 5, they have great depth. Just from the preseason alone, like I said, it's difficult. I don't want to be that guy. But Wemby is going to be. I think he's really going to take this team to a next level.
Oh,
The Spurs.
I don't know if I've ever been more in on a rookie.
Yeah. I mean, you text me the other day. He's phenomenal. And I just think the Spurs have such a good young core, and they've pretty much drafted everybody. Right. Yeah. The only one in our starting five that we didn't draft is Zach Collins. Like I said, I love the way Zach Collins plays. They're kind of going with a little bit of an unconventional. It's not even unconventional this year lineup because they want Collins and Wemby to be next to each other on the floor. They're putting Jeremy Sohan at the 1. That's going to be fun to watch. I mean, we'll see how he facilitates. You got Trey Jones. I think he was phenomenal last year. They got him on a bargain deal this offseason.
I like Trey Jones.
He's going to be a good 6-man. I think Malachi Branham is going to be good. We still got Devontae Graham came in and was like a good spark last year. A good few developmental pieces.
You're kind of convincing me. But
I think and that team, I don't know. Like I said, I will. My gut tells me to go with the Mavs, but you're right, man. That team is really kind of a time bomb. Similar with Kevin Durant. I don't trust any Kyrie teams either, man. That guy just seems to be such an issue. Look how that team took a nosedive after they acquired him.
They tanked.
Yeah. Did they get disciplined? I forgot.
I don't remember. But
I think they did.
Now on to what I think is going to be the division winner. The Pelicans. I am deciding to believe in Zion Williamson. I'm deciding to believe. I think this team. If Zion's healthy, they win the division. If Zion's not Zion, then they don't. It's as simple as that. Whatever is going on in that building is weird, and I don't really like it in terms of a functional basketball team, but I think it might. I think the ability to turn it around from where it's been is not as hard as most people are making it out to be. Yeah.
It's all gonna go down to Zion.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I see what you're saying, but I have a hard time kind of putting any faith in him. I mean, if he plays, he's been phenomenal anytime he stepped onto that court.
They can also they can make some trades.
Yeah, that could be another team too that kind of just decides to move some pieces.
Yeah,
they got some older guys. Well, I mean, I guess I'm mainly just referring to CJ McCollum, but we'll see. I think that division is going to be a crapshoot. It could be.
Absolutely.
I think any team. It could be any team.
Yeah.
I really don't see any of these teams being horrible. Even Houston. I like the moves that they made. I think we could see any team kind of take it. I mean, the biggest question mark I think in the entire division is going to be Ja. Right?
I think it's actually Zion.
I guess that's true.
Because I think when Zion is Zion, which I don't even know if he's able to get to that level anymore. This is a guy who fucking blocked a 3-pointer one time. I mean, I know it's a college 3, but like, what the fuck? Like,
I mean,
know.
I've seen Wemby do that a couple times the last couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, that's nice. He's also a foot taller.
8 foot wingspan.
Um, no,
No,
but
I know what you're saying.
yeah,
He's ridiculous.
yeah. No, I can
It's
understand what you're saying about
about Ja.
about Ja.
It's funny. My dad, he's not the biggest basketball fan, but he was always for years, even before the draft. He told me Josh should have been the #1 overall pick over Zion. And for the first couple years, I told you, and now they're kind of in the same boat a little bit. Totally different circumstances, obviously.
I think Ja is much more quote unquote recoverable than Zion.
Yes.
Because I think Zion, there's like I don't know if he's depressed or what, but there's some stuff where like the basketball motivation I think is like different from Ja's.
Dude's got to get it together, man, because he's gonna have a shit ton of child support coming through. It looks like.
Oh,
The guy get figured out.
Real quick, we in our rambling of the first two, we forgot to talk about the Pistons. We're not going to talk about the Pistons. You're going to be terrible. You're going to be terrible. Moving on. Let's run through awards real quick. And then let's get out of here. MVP, who you got?
I got Jokic again. Like I told you, it just seems like he's getting better and better. I think Giannis could find his way back in there too. Really, I'm curious to see how they play out through the full season. Gonna be between those two.
Yep, I think that's a great pick. There's no way Embiid will he's got to win like 65 games for people to even like think about him as MVP again.
Well, the thing last year is, I know there was some comments made that one of the only reasons why Embiid won it was because they did not want to see, Jokic winning
in three-peat territory
3 times.
But now there's gonna be like Jokic apologists now that he's won the ring.
Yeah.
He's in a position. He's in a position where people might fucking overreact, and we might be in a place where like he wins the next 3 MVPs, and then so he's won like 5 out of 6 MVPs or some shit like that, and then we're sitting here being like, Nikola Jokic, best basketball player ever, huh? I think
we'll see where he goes.
I genuinely think it can get there because he doesn't play in a style that, hurts him. He's not playing physically demanding basketball. And hey, if that's a weighted age and, keep your game, it's that. Last pick for me, because I completely agree about the Giannis thing. I think he is going to have to step it up defensively, but he's also going to have a lot more room on offense, and that could lead to just a lot more highlights, a lot more just like Giannis love. Third pick is Anthony Edwards. I think he is an ascending star. I think if he can take the next step, this is what the NBA loves. The NBA loves an ascending star who just uplifts their team and truly just rises above the rest. And I think I think he is loved by the media. And I think he'll just, if he takes that next step, it's the award is his.
He'll take. I could see him getting there in his career. I don't know if it's going to happen this quickly. For him to get there,
he's so young. Yeah,
I think Minnesota has to be much, much better too. That's the world we live in.
It could be though. That's the thing.
That's just the world we live. Like they got to make it far deep into the playoffs.
We forget that Karl Anthony Towns missed a lot of games. He missed half the season. Anyway. Moving on. Defensive Player of the Year. Who you got?
I got Triple J. He's gonna have a hard time being, like you said, we just touched on why Memphis might be a little bit of a mess. I think losing Steve Adams definitely hurts. But
it provides an opportunity kind of vibe.
Exactly. He's gonna kind of be the guy going into the season at least, right?
Yeah.
So that's who I think is gonna take the lead.
Gotcha. Yeah, I might surprise you with my pick. I think it might be Victor Wembanyama.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
I
Um,
I don't think this league is prepared for Wemby. Like, I genuinely don't. I think he's gonna, like, people don't realize that even when you beat Wemby, you do not fucking beat Wemby.
yeah, trust me, dude. I wanted to go there, but I didn't want to just be on my knees for Wemby this entire podcast.
I am like I'm like I'm so here for Wemby. I think he's gonna be so fucking incredible.
I agree. Just I mean, you take the last preseason game solely just as that one example, right? You blocked two 3-pointers. He had 5 blocks. He's gonna get multiple blocks a game, and he's gonna get those ridiculous blocks where somebody's pulling up for the three. I don't know if you saw the leak from the Mavs practice this week where
Oh,
they were
with the
practicing.
like high arms.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
That's what teams are going to be doing. Like that dude just changes things, man. He's such a presence, and I think that's why I'm so excited because that's such a Spurs guy, right? But not only is he going to block your three, but he's going to catch on the other end, pull up and shoot a three on his own.
It's
So
disgusting. It's
I could see it.
disgusting.
I could see it.
Another pick I have two more picks for defensive player. Evan Mobley.
Yes.
Just already just a defensive monster. Really solid. And he's another year older. If he's healthy, I think he could be one of the biggest defensive game changers. Bam Adebayo, easy pick. If Miami win like mid 50s or something, or I don't know. I think Bam can, people love Bam, and if he's solid enough, I think he can get through. Two honorable mentions just because I'm a homer. If Ben Simmons comes back and is a monster, expect that narrative. And just as a side narrative for the Nets, Nick Claxton, don't sleep on it. All right, those are my picks.
I like the Ben Simmons. I like that.
People are sleeping. People are sleeping. Most improved player. Who you got?
Let me hear your pick first.
I think Jonathan Kuminga for the Golden State Warriors could possibly be most improved. There's a lot of noise coming out of Warriors camp about how good Kuminga looks this year, and they are kind of refusing to give Klay Thompson a contract, which is like, oh wow, that's pretty crazy. So one has to think that an organization that is perceived as intelligent as the Warriors, you would think that their backup plan is potentially already in the building if they're not giving Klay an extension. Another pick, McCall Bridges. It may not be a huge stat increase, but if he leads the Nets to the playoffs, I think there will be a lot of buzz around that. Tyrese Maxey, easy pick for me because if James Harden gets traded and Tyrese Maxey becomes an all-star, that's such an easy slot. And Jordan Poole for the memes.
That's kind of my pick. I have a hard time picking this
It's such a weird
this
award.
It's such a crapshoot. But Jordan Poole,
Ja Morant got it 1 year, which is so weird.
It's too hard to predict. I know you mentioned that you think the Wizards are going to be the worst team in the NBA. I don't think so. I really think Jordan Poole is going to flourish on his own. I saw something the other day that said, at what point are we going to talk about the narrative about Steph making his the teammates around him worse? But
is that a narrative?
I think it was just a tweet I saw. I had a good amount of likes.
Yeah,
but no, I genuinely think that Jordan Poole is going to flourish being that guy. We saw it a couple times. He flashed a little bit, but I really think he'll take that step. So do you kind of categorize that? Yeah, I guess so. Mikal Bridges, I think he's the odds favorite right now to win the award.
Is he really?
I think so. But even last year, when he got traded, I mean, dude, he was popping off.
Yeah, he was great for us.
I don't love to predict this award just because he's such a crapshoot, but those are a couple players I think you can kind of look out for.
Yeah, same. Let's do Rookie of the Year, and then we'll get out of here. I mean, I think this is.
Question?
I think I'll let you lead on this one because yeah.
Yeah, barring injury, I'm looking around for wood to knock on. It's going to be Victor Wembanyama. Just the style of play plus the national coverage that he's already getting, it's almost a lock.
Yeah.
I think his competitors, like I said, maybe Scoot, but probably Chet, to be honest.
Mm.
I don't know. I mean, it was a preseason game, and the matchup between them was fun to watch, and it got a lot of
Yeah.
coverage for a preseason game.
Yes, it did.
And I think Wemby kind of came out on top on that. So, yeah, like I said, barring any injury, regardless of the success of the Spurs, I think it's a lock.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I didn't look at the odds, but I'm sure the odds look like,
It's like
you
negative
know,
something, negative
it's like
165 or something like that.
it's like Wemby, Chet, and then the like next four in the draft where you have Scoot and the Thompson twins. Or Scoot, Thompson twins, and then Brandon Miller. No, I do not think Brandon Miller will win Rookie of the Year.
The Thompson twins are way the hell down there, actually.
I think the Thompson
Odds-wise.
twins. I think the Thompson twins might be good.
No,
And
I don't disagree with you, but
if
odds-wise, they're not getting
yeah,
much
no,
love.
that's totally fair. It's fucking Wemby and Scoot. I think if I don't remember if it's Osar or in Houston, but I think that is the Thompson twin that has the better chance to like win the award, just because I think Detroit is such a fucking crapshoot.
Amen's the one in Houston.
All right, there we go.
Cam Whitmore is up there in odds currently.
Okay, I don't think he'll play, but okay.
We'll see.
Just there's too many guards there. Scoot, I think it's very talented player. I'm not sure how well it's going to go in Portland this year, but I'm looking forward to watching him play. And Chet, I think Chet has more of a health concern than Wemby, just because he did deal with an injury to his leg last year. So we'll see what happens. I think it's so hard not to say Wemby, so Wemby.
Breach.
All right. Appreciate y'all for listening. This definitely went a little longer than we wanted, but that's kind of the way it goes around here.
Start of the season, man. What do you?
Yeah, we need to cover. Appreciate y'all for listening. Make sure you're liking, make sure you're sharing, make sure you're subscribing. We're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple, we're on Breaker, we're on Anchor, Google Podcasts, so on and so forth. We're everywhere, yo. This is gonna come out on a Wednesday, so happy Wednesday, everyone. Hope last night's basketball was good. You got anything to plug before we bounce out of here?
Spurs to the Western Finals, minimum.
You're like Mikhail Prokhorov, goddamn. No, I fuck with it. I think I genuinely think Wemby's gonna change the NBA, and in like a year and a half, we're gonna be like, yeah, Wemby's done things we've never seen on a basketball court.
Can't wait.
Can't wait. Thank you again, AJ.
Appreciate it, Colin.
For joining. Yeah, man. Have a great day.
Peace.
Peace.